Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Unscripted Coding. Today we are going to continue on a previous project. Last time we were building this thing out, which is using D3, a JavaScript library for manipulating documents based on data. We created this chart after quite a bit of struggle, and I'm realizing what is it I'm actually trying to do. On one hand, I can try and do some detailed animations, and I think I'd break out, actual animation software, really just draw and design everything and move them from scratch one at a time. That's how you get the really kind of crisp, clean, custom visual, but I I just can't see myself doing that ever. So I started looking around and I realized what I'm really trying to do is just do some slick animation work with charts. And I don't need a whole lot for that, especially if it's not super customized. So I dug around and Chart.js um, looks really good. I love the flat colors. I love that you can animate just about everything. And I have actually played around with this library previously. So I wanted to just throw Chart.js and make this look a lot better and just animate some of the changes. So previously, this is the silver data price, and if you kind of grab one of these, you'll see that it's 19, I think probably 60, all the way to the modern era, and you can see the spike in prices. I wanted to just very quickly be able to animate, say, gold and silver prices, just moving between the two. Um, Really kind of simple idea here. Just how do I create a nice looking chart? How do I have kind of animatable transitions between the two and see if we can customize it. This is looking promising, but this is just about the only thing I see. Um, and we're gonna see really nice transitions here. So it looks very promising here. Okay, so I'm gonna start playing around. We're just gonna start exactly where we left off, and continue on. We're gonna remove this chart and use something else to do it. Hey everyone, we are more or less done, and really we just took some sample code from Chart.js's website, some of their samples and so on to build this out. It definitely looks a lot better. It figured out, how to space some of this data apart. You can kind of pick the colors. And it just looks a lot better than our previous version for sure. Hmm. I guess I could have borrowed some of these features as well to be able to remove. Oh, I guess it just took a while. There we go. One of the things you'll realize is there's, let's take a look. Every couple of lines, there's probably like 30,000 data points, and so it's really struggling to load. that's kind of one of the reasons why I figure this isn't great. 30,000 points is a lot, probably a lot more than you'd use, but it's struggling to stay consistent. It's struggling to do all this. But what I did enjoy is it's straight out of the box. You can choose a couple colors, make it look really nice. It handles all of this, and it looks pretty good in my opinion. So let's walk through the code real quick. You zoom in here. Oh, can't remember what the zooming function is. Is it like this? No. You and zoom in. There we go. Okay, so what we did was we used the CDN so that we can take Chart.js 3.7 in our anywhere on our page. And remember, I'm using my own kind of template so that we have a header and a footer and tools that I use quite often. Really, all you needed was a canvas anywhere on your page. So have this script, have the canvas anywhere, and then you start running these scripts. Now these two are my data. So I have silver data and gold data. That takes, what is that, 100,000 lines of code. And then this is where we get started. What you want to first do is get a set of labels, and you'll find most of these samples will just have a static list, an array of 5, 6, 10 items. In our case, we have this giant JSON file, so we're going to map it over, and this becomes an array with 30,000 points or so. Same here. So we create the labels. That's all of this bottom row, and that's all pulled from that one, these two JSON data points, just mapped out. And then the next set is the data. So number one, we have the labels, which is this over here. And I'm realizing we can probably save a bit of room just by cutting here, pasting here, get rid of this, and this should function just fine as well. Okay. Next, you have data sets. You have you have an array with two data sets. The first one we've labeled gold prices. The data is the same thing. We mapped out that JSON function, but instead of going for the date, this time we're going for the price. And then we get to choose the color. So in this case, we chose a goldish color for gold, and then a silver grayish color for silver. Could probably go a bit darker than that, but just setting them out. And then finally, our config file. We want a bar graph. This is our data, and we have a bunch of options. I'll come back to this in a second. Finally, the very last thing is we create this chart by creating a new chart, by calling the chart function. We specify where we want to put it, which is our get element. That was the canvas that we placed down earlier. And of course, we take this whole config file. And what happens is you get this lovely chart. Our config file, we get to specify the type and the data, and then in our options we get a bunch of things. So scale, you get to fiddle with it a little bit. We've made it responsive so that if we do kind of scale it down, it takes a second. It's a very demanding chart here, but you can see it chugging along to try and scale it back to the right size. There are definitely options now that I see to keep height consistent and adjust accordingly. But most importantly, we have this animation. It's really poorly done here. This is a drop animation, and you can see it move down. But because it's struggling with so many data points, it's not a very good animation. But what I really like about Chart.js here is all of this seems to make perfect sense to me. Everything we've done makes a lot of sense. It's not like processing. It's not like D3. All of this just flows in my mind. You establish your labels, you establish your data set, you punch in a bunch of configurations, and then you figure out where you want to put the chart. All of it makes so much sense. And if you have, 10, 20 data points, you can get really nice looking charts very quickly without a lot of work. What I didn't anticipate was that this actually didn't give you all that many customizations. You can see over here, you basically got to choose a background color and a border, and these guys didn't go with a border. You have a very distinctive look, no matter how you decide to build this out. And for that purpose, it's not great. I don't think I can build, the next fallen.io with this. But on the other hand, this is a great way to put some animated charts on your website. So I'm very happy with that we stumbled on this one and we're playing around with it. And for my own purposes, I was trying to do I wanted to know how I can present data nicely in an animated form at work. And I'm thinking this is quick, this is easy, this is something that I can do. As I'm saying that, I'm thinking, if I'm going for this, Excel might not be a bad idea either. I ruled it out, but I keep scaling back my ambitions. And maybe I should just pop this into Excel, which has a variety of options as well. So, all in all, I didn't get very far. I think I keep coming back to this. I think processing might be the most suitable, but it's going to be quite an ambitious project to do this, to really animate everything. So we might tackle this. If I don't come up with kind of a cool idea for next week's video, I might go back to processing and see if we can build a chart fairly quickly and easily. I'm thinking in my mind that it's going to be quite tough, and I'm trying to think of reasons not to do it. But stay tuned next week as we'll find out whether I decide to go on into another project or I keep hammering away with this one. I've just been disappointed over and over and over so far, so my morale is probably not super high. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below. If not, same thing, give me a comment below and we will tackle something else. So thanks for watching. Be sure to check out another episode of Unscripted Coding next week. Thanks.